and welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuck with Queen Bee Creations. Thanks for tuning in. We are going to be working on a craft project. We're going to be doing some coasters. I think that coasters make fabulous gifts for the holidays. So if you have markets coming up, or you sell in your booth, or you're just looking for some ideas for gift giving, this is another idea. We recently did some alcohol ink coasters. This is a different idea. So if you're not into alcohol inks, but you like decoupage and stamping, stick with me. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to make 2 sets of these. So 2 sets of 4. I got these rounded discs. They've got a nice smooth sanded rounded edge to them, which I quite like. I got them on Amazon. I will try and remember to drop the link. If I forget, remind me. But I'm going to start off by getting them painted white. And I am, just for ease, I am going to use an all-in-one paint. I happen to have white linen by DIY open. You can use the white paint of your choice. If it's not an all-in-one, then that's fine. Just go ahead, use that and seal it. I am just painting them white so that I have a nice background for decoupaging. And so the front of these, I am only going to give 1 coat to, because I don't need them to be perfect. I'm going to be covering them up. But feel free to, do other. I am going to be doing edges. It just occurred to me I should have done the edge first. But when the top is dry, I'm going to be painting the bottom anyway, and I'll get the edge then. But I'm going to paint them all over. So just when our coasters are finished, then we have a nice finished bottom as well. And again, for gift giving, I just think that's going to look nicer than the raw wood bottom. Our rounds are all dry, and what I did do was I did 2 coats on what will be the bottom, and then just 1 coat on the top, because we're going to be decoupaging on top of it. So I did 2 sets of these. One I'm going to do with the new Portobello stamp, which I'm very excited about, and then the other one I'm going to do with the antiquities, because I've wanted to do it for a while, and I never got around to it, so I'm doing them both at the same time. What is going to happen is this. We are going to decoupage some paper onto our coasters. And I've gone through some of my scrapbooking stash, and I have these little papers that are kind of the right size, because I'm only going to be using part of it. And these ones are thinner, so I think that's going to be easier. And this is pinstriping. I've got 2 sheets of blue, 2 sheets of red, so I think that will make a cute set. Those are going to be for the antiquities stamps. And then for the Portobello stamp, this is a little bit more cardstocky, but it'll work. And I wanted something that was going to have a little bit of a Victorian feel to it. So I think what I might try and do, because it's got those paler colors, and I don't want it so heavily patterned that you can't see the stamps. I'm thinking I'll try and do it so there's a little bit of these kind of pale purple, violet kind of toned colors in the corner. And we'll do that. So what I do have is handy Mod Podge. You could use the decoupage medium of your choice. I'm just choosing this because I got a big honking container of it, and I'm going to use that. So I'm just simply going to paint the top surface of these, and especially for this heavier cardstock, I'm going to be fairly generous with it. So I'm going to get a nice layer as even as you can. And then I'm going to lay my paper down over it, getting a little bit of those down in that bottom corner. And then I'm just going to flip it to press. You could use a brayer if you wanted, but I'm just doing that and putting it off to the side to dry. And I'm going to carry on. So I have 7 more to go. When it's dry, we'll be back because really there's nothing to do but watch glue dry, and that's not very exciting. Once our papers are dry, then the easiest way to kind of go around and cut the edges off, for me anyway, is just to take a piece of sandpaper. I'm using a sanding block, whatever you find easiest, whatever you've got on hand. And you're just gonna go around the edges and sand those edges off, right? And you know, if you end up with a little piece hanging, you can just smooth it out, sand it off right at the end. Now, what I do want to do is stamp my images before I would decoupage or seal them again. I want the ink to be adhered into, have absorbed into the paper itself. So when we're looking at the Portobello stamp, and bear in mind, I have already pre-treated my stamps. So your new stamps, you're gonna take, again, your sanding block, sand over everything lightly. That's why some of them look a little faded. Just so that they're roughed up a little bit, that, you know, you are going to be able to have the ink kind of stick to them. Now, there happen to be like 3 scenes, and I was thinking I could maybe fit most of the scenes onto my edge. And then there's only 3 scenes and I have 4 tiles. I could repeat one, but I think I'm just gonna put this Victorian lady there, maybe in the middle. And I do have a stamp with some little words, so I could always use that. So that's what I'm going to try. Just looking. Okay, that's what I'm gonna try from this one. And for these striped ones, I have the Antiquities stamp, and I've also treated this one. And what I thought with this is that they've got a number of these, like big bullseye kind of label. Although I really like the dog and the moose guys, so maybe I'm gonna do them, and then the cat and the rooster maybe. But if I did the cat, the rooster, I could do the pig and the bees. Oh my goodness, there's so many cool ones on this one too. Sheesh. I like the bicycle. Okay, maybe I'll do these 2 guys because they're just too cool. And I'll do the cat and the rooster and call it quits. So what we're gonna do for stamping is take our image, so face up, and we're gonna take our ink pad. Now I have already inked up my pad, so it's nice and juicy. We're gonna want to have, you know, a fair bit of ink on this. So I'm gonna pay attention to the detail in my picture, because these are very detailed. It's got the window panes and everything. Oh my goodness. And I just do them upside down. Center it where I want. And then I take one finger and I don't move that finger, right? I always have something in contact with this so that I don't inadvertently move it or smudge it or get a haloing effect. But I want to get pressure all over. I want to impress it down into, look how detailed that is. Awesome. Such a cute little scene. Okay, so I'm going to do that to all 4. And before my ink dries, I always impress it off to onto my work table so that I get most of that ink off before it can stick forever onto there. So I'm gonna get the rest of mine stamped up and dry, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what else we're gonna be up to. These are all stamped and they are awesome. Look at how detailed that stamp is. Just incredible, just incredible. So what I have done with these guys is I have taken some brown ink and I have used it on a makeup sponge, and I've gone around the edges to just kind of distress them, make them look gold. These ones, I'm thinking that I want to use black, so I'm going to use the other edge of that makeup sponge, and I'm going to go around the edges and just kind of age it in a little bit, right? Just kind of not too heavy, but just enough to kind of shadow. This one's going to more shadow it than age it. Just a little bit around the edges, and then I'll do the same because it looks weird otherwise around the outside. And I may end up taking a black paint pen to do that a little bit more smoothly, I'm thinking. But that gives you an idea. It just kind of centers it a little bit. You could leave them white. It's really up to you how you want to do it, right? Then I'm going to seal them. Now, because I want these to be used as coasters, I'm not just going to top them with the Mod Podge. I find that even if I do a couple of coats, if you put a hot drink on and it's kind of steaming, it sort of reactivates that Mod Podge a little bit. So I'm going to be using Spar varnish because I have it. This is a marine varnish, so it's definitely good for water, it's good for outdoors, it's good for baking in the sun. But really what I would just recommend is use a polyacrylic top coat that works for outdoors is probably your best bet, because then that is going to just kind of give you a better, more durable finish for these. You could certainly use a resin if you wanted to go that route. I'm going a little simpler than that, but you could certainly do that too if you wanted. I gave the marine sealer overnight. It takes a little bit longer than some of the other polyacrylics to dry. But the round wooden discs that I bought, the package of them also came with little rubber feet. So I stuck 3 on the bottom of each of those. So what I have is, I have my little coasters. Now, I ended up painting them with coal black from Fusion, and I did little gold dots around the rim, which I quite like, but you could do a softer look with any of the soft metallics as well, especially from Fusion. They have a whole line of like rose gold and brushed silver, and there's all kinds of different metallics. So I probably would do that if I was doing this again, because I think this is a little too funky for this being aged. And I may end up painting them out again. So in full disclosure, seeing them the next day. I liked them yesterday, not enamored with them today. So I'm looking at them thinking, I'm gonna do a little champagne gold. It's kind of a nice soft gold. It's not very bold, and I think it'll go with the antiquing that we've got here. So I'm gonna repaint the edges, so just so you know. But the main thing is, look at those stamps. Look at them on the little coasters. I did a couple of little French words that I had from just a little Stampin' Up stamp, which are just small enough for this. But I quite like these done on that antiqued kind of paper with a little bit of that floral to one side, because you've got lots of room for it, so it takes up a little bit of the real estate. But the detail is incredible, and they just look super cute this way. And while I was at it, I did these little guys. So these ones are on the blue stripe, and I've got these ones on the red stripe, so him and this guy, and they just kind of really suit that kind of ticking look, right? That striped fabric. So these are just super fun, and just a nice kind of quick little craft, cute little gift. If you were looking for something just, package wise, I would just tie it up with some ribbon and put a little tag on it and be able to give that as a gift. And it's just kind of super fun, super cute. your kids can help you with this, getting them painted up and doing some of the stamping even, I think would be a nice thing for them to be able to have done up and give as little gifts coming from the kids. Let me know what you think of this one. Certainly, you know, using some of the new IOD holiday stuff was a lot of fun. I hope that you managed to grab some. As of the filming of this video, this is going to be a week later for you. I still have some of this stamp that I used, but everything's getting pretty scarce pretty fast. This has been a really popular release. So that's also why I went back to a previous release, right? So the antiquities, which you would be able to get if you aren't able to get this one. But any stamps would do. So doing up some coasters, distressing them, doing them up old world, kind of a fun little project. Let me know what you think of this one, guys. Love to hear from you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, take care.